Thank you, Mr. President. And thank you, Senator Squadron, for your very, very articulate and comprehensive outline of this bill. You hit many of the very significant areas that I think have preoccupied this legislature, not only this year, but for decades. One of the first things that was handed to me when I arrived here 37 years ago was something called the Fleischman Report. Years later, there was the Markey Commission. Nothing has preoccupied the state legislature more than governance and the Department of Education, the former Board of Education in the city of New York. During the past 9 months, a great deal of study and analysis has been done relevant to the effectiveness of mayorality control, which began in 2002. Whether it's the Citizens Union or the Public Advocate or the CSA, the principals who certainly are there every day in our schools, who know certainly whether or not the experiment was valid and productive, the teachers in the classroom, all of them, without exception, urged us to continue mayorality control and that form of governance which we've had for the last 7 years. The bill before us passed the Assembly 129-18, with 70% of the assemblymen from the city of New York voting for it. Clear indication at the grassroots level of support for what has been going on for the past 7 years. Now, it isn't just governance, because as the Senator indicated, we have authority married with responsibility. And what that engenders more than anything else is resources. Embedded in the 2000 law and continued in this one is maintenance of effort. Those of you know, I'm sure, know what that is. To ensure that the city of New York maintains its level of funding consistent with what we have been doing here for the past decade at the state level. And it's worked. We're now spending well over $16,000 per pupil in the city of New York, more than any school system in any city or state in the nation on a per capita basis. On top of that, because this mayor was on the hook, he came up with a 5-year capital program of over $13 billion, where we're building schools at every borough, modernizing them, upgrading them, expanding them. There isn't a school area or any district in the city where you don't find scaffolding of work being done. So our children and our teachers, employees, 130,000 of them, who go to work every day, 1.1 million children into those schools, find an environment which I think is far better than it has ever been and certainly contributes to the quality of the education they get. There is a sunset in this bill, 2015, and there's no doubt in my mind that whatever legislature is here, those of us who are here, we will be having a similar discussion, looking back at a 6-year period and saying, well, are the changes that we put in place from 2002, are they beneficial? Have they done the job? Have they improved the product? And then make another judgment. I think that we will come up with the answer of yes. Senator Squadron indicated the concerns with English language learners. One of the things in this bill is a new citywide council just for that purpose. He talked at great length, and properly so, about the auditing and oversight, the control of the city of New York and the Office of the Budget Office. All will have access to all the data and contracts and oversight that goes on in the Department of Education. We could be here all afternoon, and I know that many of you would like to get back home. I'm going to end with one of the letters that I got a copy of from the Department of Education, written by the U.S. Secretary of Education, Mr. Duncan. As President Obama's Secretary of Education, I can tell you that both the change and the resulting progress that has occurred in New York City schools over the last 7 years is truly remarkable. I believe whether it's remarkable or outstanding or positive, whatever adjective you'd like to use, we did the right thing 7 years ago. And hopefully we'll do the right thing again today by keeping this thing moving forward with all the improvements that have been articulated, and I won't repeat them, particularly the area of superintendents, which is something we fought for. Senator Lanza, myself, Senator Golan had 3 or 4 meetings with the chancellor, and that's what we talked about. Most of all, we've got to give those superintendents the opportunity in their districts to do their job and not be sent all over the city doing things that are not relevant to their district, and give them the resources to do it. 90% of the problems at the district level can be handled in that office if given the opportunity to do so. So there are tons of things in here. You all got the fact sheet. You can read them. I need to read them to you. But we've done a good job, I think, together, both houses, working, ironing out, accepting inputs and recommendations, and we're here today to vote on the bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Padavan.